before we come into that red flags for housing, Janet, I'm sure you'd like to tell us about this Untouchables story. Sindio?
I do. I mean, I think it's something that we've talked about before. The way it starts, the way this article starts is, it's heartbreaking because it says, I cannot go to my village in Makweni until after 2 years. The shame is too much. My family and close friends fundraised 240,000 Kenya shillings, hoping that I would secure a caregiver's job in Canada and help my struggling family. Instead, I was scammed and slapped with a visa ban for 5 years after my agent faked my application documents and they were flagged by the embassy. That is Janet Mwenda's story. She told The Nation in an interview last month. You know, speaking in a low tone. And there's even a picture there of job seekers who accused Vintmark Travel Agency of failing to get them employment. They're gathering at Jivanji Gardens in this picture. Which was taken last year on September 25th. So again, I think the job scam, there's always the one side where people say, oh, Kenyans are gullible and they fall for anything. Where people are, I know it's more desperate than gullible. The loss though is that they are the ones who now have to suffer the consequences of what they ended up going for. There's no coming back from this. Having to recoup 240,000. I actually said, people at home won't understand, but this is what I was doing for them. So in a case like this, I'm just always like, okay, where do you even begin to recalibrate? Where do you start? People at home won't understand. We know that there are people who are guilty here of scamming. There's almost like a helplessness.
It's quite crazy. So this story is from September last year when Caesar Kingori of Vintmark Travel Agency Limited made headlines after his company was accused of defrauding thousands of job seekers of 720 million shillings. After the Nation expose, his company was registered by the National Employment Authority, the industry regulator, and his license revoked. The complaints against Kingori coincided with a high-level Kenyan delegation to Germany to sign jobs deals. And although Kingori was not officially part of this presidential delegation, Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi and ODM leader Raila Odinga, he made the trip and even marketed his recruitment agency. While at it, he posed for a photo with the then Labour CS Alfred Mutua on the sidelines of the meeting. On arrival from Germany, Kingori posted messages on social media platforms inviting job seekers to sign up for job openings. CS Mutua denied knowing Kingori personally. He said officials of recruitment agencies were not part of the official government delegation, noting that they made their own individual arrangements. Apart from Vintmark, other companies that victims of fraud complained about were WordStart Africa, WordStart Travel Agency, WordStart Barista Technical Institute, owned by Pastor James Wanjohi. Reports also made to the police against Ambo Beginnings. This company was called Ambo. Ambo Beginnings.
It's a pun, maybe.
And another one called Frack and Carp Limited, owned by Alphonse Kioko, and Trevoron Travel and Tours Limited, owned by Hannah Kanio. So all of them collectively, it comes to about 2.5 billion shillings. You're asking where it begins? I keep saying, and in fact, this is where we are going next, the National Employment Authority. This agency has got to answer for all these things. It's bottom line. They had licensed this Vintmark. After the complaints, they deregistered Vintmark and they revoked the license. Sawa. What have they done since then?
Right.
Since then, after noticing that there are so many, because this issue of people going to Canada was a huge scam last year. People were conned, and the Canadian embassy was just revoking, and even banning those people from, an individual such as the one who was
Janet, for 5 years.
And
for something that she really didn't have much information or control over.
Just looking for a better future for herself. It's also the amounts of money. 2.5 billion shillings is a lot of money when you think about it cumulatively. But think about someone raising 240,000 shillings from their village. Every person has fingered themselves to give you 500, 1,000, 1,500, 3K, all up to 240,000, making sure that you get to go get better opportunities abroad. And then this is the outcome. You can't even go back. So one, the social shame, the financial setback that it is, because how are you paying these people back the 240,000 shillings without this job in Canada? You can't go back to the village as well because you're ashamed. You can't go back and look those people in the eye. And then you just see them go about their business. They've been deregistered. But if they choose to start another, if it's Vintmark today and they choose to start Vintmark Pro Max tomorrow, what stops them from conning another 2.5 billion shillings?
Yeah, and we've got to fix this by just seeking to understand the National Employment Authority, how much they do, right? Because we should be seeing a lot of communication on billboards, on radio, on newspapers, on pamphlets, in churches and all, with the National Employment Authority just creating awareness about the legitimacy of jobs agencies, how to check and verify that this is a legitimate opportunity or how this one is not, because this is why they were established. That's their main primary job, is that you license and register the jobs market, not just abroad, but even locally. So if it's about a budget, then they should be campaigning to get a higher budget and saying, this is a very big thing that we are doing, so we need to have a higher budget just for communication and awareness, because many of these people, their bottom line is that they were not aware.
Exactly.
They just heard the jobs opportunities, applied for it, turns out to be fake. Some of them are held up now in Myanmar.
Basically slaves.
Yeah. And we have Naya here, and people are earning a salary. It's February has ended, someone has earned their salary.
Yes.
And there's somebody who's actually a slave in Myanmar somewhere, or in another country we have not heard of yet. Apana. Let's take a break.